What if this isn't the end of the shock, but the start of something bigger? The Lions, standing on the edge of a season loaded with promise and peril, could be staring down a fork in the road that defines their 2025 campaign. Rumor mill chatter hints at a front office desperate to patch the cracks. Insiders say the Tesla injury isn't just a minor bump, but a sign of deeper issues in Detroit's offensive rotation. Now, with the team's most promising slot weapon potentially out, the offense risks losing its spark, one that had fans dreaming of a high-octane, explosive attack. But that's the move that could flip the season upside down, forcing Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson's play calling to adapt on the fly, perhaps leaning heavier on a less proven, more versatile receiver corps or doubling down on the run game to protect Goff. Meanwhile, league-wide, NFC North rivals aren't sitting idle. They see Detroit's fragile patchwork on offense and interior line as an opening worth exploiting. Minnesota and Chicago are already throwing shade about the Lions' internal struggles. Whispers suggest the Vikings are preparing a blitz-heavy plan to test Detroit's limited interior protection, aiming to turn Goff's quick drops into turnovers, leveraging the shaky line depth. At the same time, Packers fans are salivating because they see Tesla's potential absence as an opportunity to pressure Detroit's depleted secondary as ever before. What if this injury cascade pushes the Lions into a scramble mode? The shock waves could ripple all season long, forcing questionable decisions like tinkering with Graham Glasgow and Christian Mahogany in key snaps, risking missed blocks and blown coverages when it counts most. And if the pass rush remains thin, how long can Detroit's new-look defense contain the league's rising quarterbacks? Justin Fields will be licking his chops, knowing the Lions' edge rush depth isn't exactly ironclad. Aiden Hutchinson, still unproven, Marcus Davenport battling injuries, Al Quadden Mohammed and Tyrus White, more question marks than assurances. A crucial 3rd and long, no pressure from that thin rush, could turn into a dagger. But here's the wild card. What if the Lions roll the dice on a bold move, an unexpected lineup change, a surprise trade, or a high-stakes gamble to cover these cracks? NFL insiders suggest Detroit might consider aggressive in-season tweaks to shore up the pass rush, risking chemistry for desperate stability. That gamble could be the spark that ignites the season or the move that throws it into chaos, especially if it disrupts the locker room cohesion Dan Campbell worked so hard to build. And in the broader picture, this fragile roster isn't just a problem for Week 1. It's a potential Achilles heel that could haunt Detroit all year. The NFC North is not a welcoming landscape beyond the confines of Ford Field. Every slip, every mistake is exploited like a gift. Minnesota is hungry. Green Bay smells blood and is circling with weapons always primed for revenge. Chicago, young and scrappy, is waiting for their shot at an upset. The ghosts of past heartbreaks in 0-16 season, Barry Sanders walking away, Megatron retiring, they're all lurking just beneath the surface, ready to rear their heads if Detroit's internal issues spin out of control. And if the front office pulls the trigger hard now, making a risky move to patch these gaps, fans have to wonder, are they betting on a future built in chaos or a miracle renaissance? Because honestly, this season feels like either Detroit finally seizes its moment and rises, or we'll be talking about another season where hope flickered out just short of glory. The pressure's mounting. The clock is ticking. The entire division watches, waiting to see if Detroit's grit, which has carried us through decades of doubt, is enough to outlast the storm. A last-minute trade, an injury setback, or a coaching gamble could be the difference, shaping the identity of this team for years to come. Personally, I'm sick of these injuries and missed opportunities. Feels like every damn year we're fighting from behind, always one step away from breaking through, but never quite there. Honestly, I love this team's heart, but damn, it's exhausting trusting that grit will be enough every single time. If they blow this season because of a few unlucky hits or a bad schematic choice, I don't want to hear about never giving up. It's time for Detroit to take that damn step. No more excuses. Because around here, we don't wait for miracles. We make our own. So, Lions, it's finally time to show the NFL what the Pride is really made of. Fight for every inch. Refuse to back down and prove that Detroit's grit isn't just talk. It's lifetime Honolulu Blue, tailgate fierceness. One pride, one heartbeat. This is where legends are born, or where they die trying. Playoff hopes, NFC North pride, and the ghost of every agonizing Lions season flash through Detroit minds as we barrel into Week 1 of 2025. The pressure's mounting, the rivals are circling, and fans are already holding their breath over whether this team can finally break the cycle after last year's breakthrough. Playoff push raised expectations as high as Ford Field on game day. But beneath the hopeful roar lurks a question only Lions faithful know too well. How ready is this squad to survive not just Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins, but their own fragile roster? The Green Bay Packers are coming to town, and the matchup feels like deja vu of every nail-biter and heartbreak since Barry Sanders retired and Calvin Johnson hung up his cleats. Can Detroit's offensive line and pass rushers hold up under the unforgiving spotlight? Or will unseen cracks blow everything wide open when it counts most? This is Lions News Fan Report, firing up your daily Detroit grit and ready to slice through the noise. Hit subscribe now if you bleed Honolulu Blue, because we're about to dissect the hard truths no one wants to say out loud, but every Lions fan is dying to understand. Forget flashy headlines. This is the Warriors' zone, where every tough call counts and the roar of Ford Field is earned, not given. The latest buzz? Isaac Tesla, the 2024 third-round pick, whose rise out of Arkansas generated hope that Detroit might finally fix its slot receiver quandary, could be out, an injury murmur cutting sharp through what's otherwise a bumpy offseason. Tesla was supposed to step into that critical 3WR spot, providing the kind of underneath routes and yards after catchability that complement stars like Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams. Instead, rumors swirl that Tesla's availability is in serious doubt, adding another chip to the Lions' already shaky offense puzzle. This uncertainty slams into the gritty reality of Detroit's interior offensive line too, where veteran anchors like Frank Ragnow and new acquisition Kevin Zeitler are gone, leaving Graham Glasgow and Christian Mahogany to hold the line. Their experience is real, but their collective track record is patchy, a week-by-week question mark against the Packers' ferocious rush front, led by the relentless Devontae Taco Shields. Let's be blunt. The core of Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson's system depends on physical domination up front and precision in the passing game. The loss or limited play of Tesla threatens that delicate balance. Detroit's edge rush depth is another glaring sore spot. Aiden Hutchinson's return from leg fractures is hopeful but unproven, and pairing him alongside Marcus Davenport, who hasn't cleared 11 games in 5 years and comes as a former Saints draft pick swapped to Green Bay first overall back end. 2018 reminds fans painfully of our injury history and thin margins. Behind them, there's Al-Quadin Muhammad and Tyrus White, veterans with spotty NFL tape and who were recent waiver pickups. This patchwork of pass rushers leaves little room for error or complacency in a division where sniffing weakness is standard operating procedure. Then there's the ripple effect. If Tesla can't run, play calling loses a deadly inside route option. If interior blocking collapses, Jared Goff faces pressure that turns promising drives into stalled punts. If edge rushers can't stay healthy, the defense gets sorely tested, chasing down quick strikes and scrambling quarterbacks like Justin Fields, or even the Packers' unpredictable offense. Detroit's rivals are watching, and none will slow down or overlook these chinks. After years of watching Barry and Megatron carry burdens almost too heavy to bear, Lions fans deserve better than to open the season wondering if the offense can survive without their new slot weapon or a bruising interior line. Consider what it means for this season. The NFC North isn't forgiving. Green Bay, Minnesota, even Chicago are all dreaming of exploiting Detroit's unstable spots. The 2025 season is about finishing what last year's playoff run hinted was possible, about proving Dan Campbell's fight isn't just talk. It's about avoiding the all-too-familiar spiral that turned 0-16 into a decade-long sigh of not this again. And while the draft brought in some hopeful depth, the quick departures and injuries highlight a stark fact. This team's margin for error gets slimmer weekly. Detroit fans remember when a dropped pass was a dagger, when a missed block was a season's end. They know the sound of a locker room where hope battles frustration every single day. The silent question this week: can the Lions overcome the possible loss of Tesla and fragile line depth to shake up the division, or will the Packers exploit these openings like they always do? The answer may echo through the next few drives, the next crucial third down, the very identity of this Lions team that works just as hard as any in the league, but can never seem to catch a break. Ford Field will be loud come kickoff. Tailgates will blaze like Detroit summers, but inside, questions linger. Can a rookie slot receiver carry the injustice of so many years of offense failures? Can the interior line, patchy and unproven, withstand the relentless Green Bay pass rush? And if Marcus Davenport can't stay on the field, who fills the edge rush void? Lions fans, this isn't just a game, it's a reckoning. The question beating in every Detroit heart tonight: how will this shallow depth chart shape the identity of the Lions in 2025? Will this be the year the Lions rise over the division, or the year old demons pull us back down? Sound off now. Where do you see this team going in the NFC North? Is Tesla's status the domino that topples hopes, or a rallying cry for grit and unexpected greatness? One thing's certain: this team fights like Detroit, through and through, but the Wolves are at the door, and the margin for error runs dry. The Lions might just have to claw back on hope, heart, and whatever grit they've got left, because around here, that's all we've ever had.